You can get lost in eBay all too easily, spending your hard-earned cash on things you need and some that you don't. It's a great service, but in the darker recesses of the website, there lurks items which would cause even the most adventurous shopper apprehension, perhaps even dread. Here are the 10 creepiest things on eBay. Number 10 is a Thai Jinn mask. Occasionally, ancient relics from obscure occult practices are listed on eBay. One such listing was for a jinn mask from Thailand. This type of mask is worn by a powerful sorcerer during rituals designed to capture the demonic spirits in people or in the surrounding environment. The seller of this particular mask claimed to have been present during one such ritual when a powerful witch captured the essence of a jinn. This spirit is connected to genie mythology, and although more terrifying than Western depictions, it's said to grant good fortune to anyone who can tame the demonic creature. It's said that this particular jinn trapped in the mask can keep undead creatures such as vampires at bay. However, a word of warning, jinns are known to prey on humans should they be mishandled. Number 9 is the Victorian gentleman. In 2017, an eerie object was listed on eBay known as a daguerreotype. This is a type of photograph which is no longer produced and is printed onto a silvered copper plate. The photograph in question was of a man, and the seller stated that he had been told that the man's name was Martin. Where the item takes a dark turn is that the seller had experienced a series of paranormal encounters connected to the Victorian gentleman. Voices could be heard, strange knocks, and when a Ouija board was used to contact the man in the photo, he answered a number of questions about the past. However, when asked about how he had died, he would move the planchette off the board. The seller speculated on the possibility that the spirit was not in fact Martin, but something else entirely, manipulating people for some dark purpose. Number 8 is a cursed ring. Some eBay items are less to be used but more worn. However, given that many pieces of jewelry on the site are secondhand, you might want to think twice when you uncover their history. Take one ring, which was listed on the site in September of 2015. The seller claimed that the ornate ring contained a mysterious spirit. This spirit would appear telepathically to those sensitive enough to see her, taking the form of a beautiful young woman. If the right owner came along, it was said that the spirit could grant the wearer power. However, the sale came with a warning. If the wrong person wears the ring, then the spirit turns against them, taking the form of a ferocious beast and insidiously attacking them, eroding away everything good in their life. The ring was bought, but no one has heard from the current owner. Number 7 are dancing shoes. Discovered on a haunted estate in Virginia, a pair of children's vintage tap shoes were listed on eBay with an unsettling backstory. The shoes were discovered in an abandoned nursery on the estate, along with Victorian children's clothing, books, and vintage toys. Those connected to the estate say that a malevolent spirit of a woman named Jenny roams the halls and rooms of the house and would torment the children who stayed there when they were alive. The owner of the shoes is a mystery, though on the soles of the shoes the name Lisa is written. When the shoes were left alone in the nursery, witnesses claimed they heard the ghastly tapping of someone wearing them, dancing. Whether that spirit was Lisa or perhaps Jenny herself trying to lure people to the abandoned room, no one is certain. Number 6 is Jeffrey Dahmer's jacket. Every now and then, a unique, one-of-a-kind item is listed on eBay. Often this is a harmless object with little or no negativity attached to it. However, in one instance, the item was connected to the acts of one of the most infamous criminals in American history. The seller had been a friend of serial killer Jeffrey Dahmer when they were in high school. The listing was for a jacket Dahmer had loaned the seller when they were in need of something that looked like an army jacket for a play. The item had been hanging up in the seller's family home for decades, and when everyone in the family was made aware of who it used to belong to, they decided that they couldn't have something like that in their house. The jacket was bought for $150 by someone who had no qualms about owning or perhaps wearing a serial killer's clothes. Number 5 is the Anguished Man painting. The Anguished Man painting is one of the most famous and frightening items ever listed on eBay. The painting was created by an unknown artist. The foreboding human figure depicted in the painting, without eyes and with a gaping mouth, is said to have been painted by some artist using his own blood. Understandably, there's a lot of controversy surrounding the eBay listing. It was originally listed on eBay for sale, but the owner seemed to have a change of heart and took it down. The reasoning is that the painting had been associated with eerie footsteps and other paranormal phenomena ever since the artist passed away. The owner of the painting feels so strongly that it is dangerous that he doesn't want anyone else exposed to its evil powers unnecessarily, and so he's locked the painting away behind closed doors. Number 4 is a crying lamb. A number of haunted dolls have been listed on eBay for sale, but one of the most obscure and most troubling is the Crying Lamb doll. The doll is in the shape of a cuddly lamb, though its once soft material is now darkened with grime and age. The seller of the doll claimed that the lamb would speak at night. Coming from inside of it, the voice of a child could be heard, scratched and repetitive, like coming from an old record player. Eventually, the seller decided that the spirit attached to the lamb could not rest because it was not with the right owner. The listing then hoped that the lamb toy could be united with a sympathetic owner, perhaps a child, who could take care of it and allow the spirit to rest. Some believe that the item is haunted by a young girl named Cindy, but whether she ever found peace, no one knows. Number 3 is Edgar's Things. One eBay seller discovered an unusual box in the attic of an old Victorian home. The box was tattered and aged, covered in a thick layer of dust. Preserved inside were a child's trinkets, including a collapsing cup, some books, and a tin monkey toy. But what was really unsettling about it, however, was that it also contained locks of human hair. One lock of hair had a pink slip attached to it which read, "Died March 14th, 1920. Little Edgar." At first, the seller kept the items. However, its presence in the house upset her dogs, and once the box was on the property, they would bark and stare at an empty corner of the house as if something was standing there. Certain that she had inadvertently brought the spirit of little Edgar into her home, she sold the items on eBay to someone that she hoped would know what to do with them. Number 2 is the Lombok Island box. In March of 2019, a strange wooden box was listed on eBay, and its presence got a lot of people in the paranormal community talking. Known as the Lombok box, it was carved from coconut bark and then decorated with shells from Lombok Island in 1942. It was gifted to a high-ranking British officer, whose son then inherited it. The family of the officer believed that it was cursed, though apparently selling the thing made the curse stronger. Even so, it was given away several times, and the most recent seller acquired it after the latest owner, a man in his 90s, moved into a nursing home. Following this, the seller felt uncomfortable having it in their home and placed it in a shed, despite its value. The trouble with the box is that to give it away or to sell it can make the haunted presence associated with it more active. And number 1 is the human skull epidemic. One of the most macabre items for sale on eBay is that of a human skull. Not a replica, but the bona fide skeletal remains of a once living person. Worse than this, the selling of such items is common and widespread. The Louisiana Department of Justice in Baton Rouge carried out a survey over 7 months and found that in that time, 454 human skulls had been listed on eBay. Some of those skulls were sold for pennies, others for thousands of dollars, depending on their history and condition. Sellers have been exploiting a loophole on eBay which only allows the selling of skulls for medical purposes. But in a terrifying twist, some believe the skulls are a combination of genuine skulls donated to science, stolen archaeological relics, and, worst of all, unknown victims of homicides sold to the highest bidder.